Welcome to Geometry for AP. Today we're going to do a 30, 60, 90 special right triangles. Just like the day before we had done a special pattern for 30, 60, 90. Today we're going to do a pattern from the one before. We can get rid of this. Well, I guess we'll just leave that up there. We're not really doing questions tonight for homework. We do that in class. Remember at your recitation, you should be able to start working on that if you haven't done it already. Get it done early. It is a quiz grade. All right, so let's start off with first how we got a hold of 36 and 90. So these triangles right here are equilateral triangles, okay? And because they're equilateral triangles, that means that this angle right here is going to be 60 degrees. This angle is going to be 60. And this is going to be 30 and 30 because this is an altitude in an isosceles triangle which bisects the angle and it bisects the base down there. So that means this is 4 inches. And because this whole thing is 4 also and it's bisected, that makes this 2 inches and this 2 inches. Now the reason why we're doing this is because this is a right triangle, we can do Pythagorean theorem here. And so what we have is we have x squared plus 2 squared equals 4 squared. And so we have x squared plus 4 equals 16. So x squared equals 12. And then we square root, and we get 2 square root of 3. And so that is the length of the x value right here, which is the altitude in that figure. Okay? And so then if we go here again, this is an isosceles triangle or equilateral triangle. This is 8. That makes this whole thing 8. And so then we get 4 inches. And 4 inches. And so then we put in Pythagorean theorem again to find the value of x. And so we get x squared plus 4 squared equals 8 squared. So x squared plus 16 equals 64. X squared equals, and we subtract that. And so we got 48 here, and then we square root each side. And x is equal to, this is 4 square root of 3. And so this missing value is 4 square root of 3. And so then we go over here to this next one, and again we got 6 here, and we got a 3 here and a 3 here, and so we can follow the pattern again. And when we follow the pattern, we then come up here, and when we're done, you can do that pattern, and you get x is equal to 3 square root of 3 here. All right, and so what we found out is we start looking at equilateral triangle. Remember that all these are 30 degrees and 60 degrees here and 30 degrees here and 60 degrees here. And then every time we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle and we look at just one half of this, that we have a 8 for the hypotenuse. This piece is half of that 8. And then this piece is that piece right there, the 4 times the square root of 3. And so then we got the 4 here. We got the 2, which is half of that. And then this one right here was 2 square root of 3. And so then we have a 3 and a 6 and a 3 square root of 3. And so it ends up being this pattern. And so when you have a pattern like that, you can create a formula or you can create a theorem that explains this pattern. And so then if we go look at this one where we have an equilateral triangle and we know that this is 4 square root of 3, just like in the problems we did a minute ago, that meant that this piece had to be 4, this piece had to be 4, and that this piece would have to be 8. Okay, and then we go over here to this one. If this is 8 square root of 3, that means this is 8, and this is going to be 16 because it's double that piece. So we get 7 here, and then we get 14 here and here. So remember, this whole thing was 14. All the sides end up being the same. And so there's a pattern there also. So then we go, and here's our pattern. In a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, the length of the shortest leg. Now, how do we know the shortest leg? The shortest leg. All right, so we know the shortest leg because this is the smallest angle, so that's going to be the shortest leg is across from it. And so therefore the shortest leg is x. We always got to have the shortest leg, so you got to find that first. And then the hypotenuse, which is the easiest one to do, is double that shortest leg. So it's 2x, and we know the hypotenuse because it's across from right angle. And finally, the longest leg, or the longer leg, is square root of 3 times the length of the shortest leg. So x squared root of 3 is here. And so if you know this process, you can reverse it, go forward, you can go backwards, you can go any direction you want to. And so if you want to write these things down to help you out, you're going to learn to do these pretty quickly in your brain, and so you won't have to do a lot of work. You have to be able to know the answers and show them. Okay? So there are 3 types of ways we can have this problem. I can give you the shortest leg, I can give you the longest leg, or I can give you the hypotenuse. And you got to be able to work and find all the other missing sides just from that information. Let's start for the first one with the shortest leg. All right, I know this is shortest leg because this is your 30-degree angle, and so we go across, and that's my short leg. So if the shortest leg is x, The hypotenuse is twice the shortest leg, so that makes this 6. And the longest leg is the shortest leg, which is 3, times the square root of 3. So that's 3 square root of 3. And if you memorize the thing when you're saying that and you say it over and over again, you can actually say and walk right through the whole thing. So again, short angle, short leg. So if this is 2 square root of 3, the hypotenuse is 2 times 2 square root of 3. So this is 4 square root of 3. Remember that you don't multiply the 2 times the square root. They don't mix. And then we go to the longer leg, which is going to be the short leg, 2 square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which is going to be 2 square root of 9. Cancels out to be a 3. And so we end up with 6 here. All right, and again, we go to this last one. You want to take a minute and do that one yourself, see what you get, that'd be fine. All right, so we end up here with 8 square root of 6. And here we end up with 4 square root of 18, but 18 can be simplified. Remember, that's 9 times 2. So you really should get 12 square root of 2 here. And there are your answers. Okay, so that's the easiest way. I can give you a short leg, you got to find all the other information. The next way I can give you is I'll go with the hypotenuse. I know this is the hypotenuse, so if I give you the hypotenuse first, that makes it easy. Because to get to the hypotenuse, we had to multiply the shortest leg times 2. So to reverse that, we take the 6 and we divide it by 2, which is 3, and that's going to be my shortest leg. So this one's 3. And then the longer leg is the shortest leg, 3, times the square root of 3. So that's 3 square root of 3. So again, we go here to the hypotenuse. Okay, we want the shortest leg first, so we go to here. So I take that and divide by 2. The 2 can't go into 3, they're radicals and numbers, but those cancel. And so I end up with 3 square root of 3 here. And if I'm going to find the y value, I take the shortest leg, 3 square root of 3, and I multiply by square root of 3, so that's 3 square root of 9, cancels. And so then I end up with y is the value of 9. Okay, you can try this last one if you'd like to. Okay, and so for this one, shortest angle, shortest side, so this is going to be 5 square root of 2 over 2. I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. Doesn't break any of my rules of division, no radical in the denominator. 5 and 2 can't be simplified. I don't want to see this as 2.5 square root of 2. I don't want a decimal, I want it as a fraction. And so then we're going to take 5 square root of 2 over 2, multiply it by square root of 3. Now put that 3 over 1 if it may help you. So I end up with 5 square root of 6 over 2, and that's the value of x. All right, you're going to have a lot of chances to practice in your homework, and you're going to be able to get to these pretty quickly. You see that I still show some work to help me out sometimes. All right, now the last way. I can give you I've given you the short leg, I've given you the hypotenuse. Now if I give you the long leg, you got to be able to go backwards, and this is where most people have the difficulty. All right, so to get here, I need the short leg first. Always got to have the first one here. So if I've got the long leg, remember to get to the long leg, I take the shortest leg times the square root of 3. So to undo that, I take the long leg and I divide by the square root of 3 to find out what it was to start. Well, I can't have a radical in the denominator. So remember, we have a little rule that we do. Multiply top and by square root of 3. So it's 12 square root of 3 all over 3. Those cancel to become a 4. So this is really 4 square root of 3. Okay, I know my short leg. Remember that your hypotenuse is twice your shortest leg. So that makes this 8 square root of 3. And I'm done. So let's go here to the next one. I need a short leg first. Always point to that one first. You know you need to have that one. So I've got the long leg. So 6 square root of 3 divided by square root of 3. Those cancel. So there we go. Y is equal to 6. Well, if y is equal to 6, the hypotenuse is 2 times that, which makes it 12. All right, you can try this last one if you want. All right, and so for this last one, I get 8 and I get 16. So if you didn't get those, you can ask me some questions when you come to class. Now, sometimes there are word problems associated with these special right triangles. So it says, if an equilateral triangle has sides of 12 feet long, then what is the measure of the altitude? So let's draw a picture. 12, 12, 12. So we put an altitude in here. What does it do to that 12? It makes that 6 and 6. Also creates a 30, 60, 90. So the altitude is going to be 6 square root of 3 feet long. Remember, it's the long leg there because this is a 60-degree angle. That's the 30. That's the short leg. That's the long leg, the altitude. All right, an equilateral triangle has an altitude of 9. So if we go here, draw a triangle, put an altitude in. It says altitude of 9. Remember, these are all the same. That's a bisected part. So this is a 60-degree angle. That's a 30-degree angle. So I'm given the long leg. So I got to take 9 and divide it by the square root of 3 to get to that short leg. I need that short leg first. And be careful, this question is asked for the perimeter of the triangle. So times square root of 3 times square root of 3. So this is 9 square root of 3 over 3. Those cancel. So I get 3 square root of 3. So this is 3 square root of 3. What's this other side? Well, it's times 2. So that's 6 square root of 3. And this is 6 square root of 3. And this is 3 square root of 3. So the perimeter is going to be 3 times 6 square root of 3. So it's 18 square root of 3 meters. Make sure you answer the question that it's asking perimeter or area or whatever it changes to. Always read them carefully. All right, so this is some very special right triangle stuff. So when we're working these, we're going to do these just like we talked about the other day. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take this problem. All right, I'm going to first just hide this information. I'm going to hide this and I'm going to hide this. And I'm going to do it over here. And I'm going to do it right here also. So by hiding all this information, it makes this problem a little bit easier to deal with. So the first thing you want to do is find the missing sides first. Don't even worry about the variables yet. So short angle, short side, which means the hypotenuse is going to be 12 square root of 3. It's 2 times that one. That means this one's going to be 6 square root of 3 times square root of 3. So that's 6 square root of 9 brings a 3. So this one's going to be equal to 18. So I have each one now. Now once I've done that part, then I got to solve for the variable. So now that I've done that part, let's look at the variables. All right, so how do I solve 3y equals 18? Well, I divide by 3 and divide by 3, so y is equal to 6. That was easy enough. How do I solve for x here? I got to subtract 4 from both sides. Now that right there is the problem you're going to have. You're going to try to subtract 4 from 12. Those are not like terms. So x equals negative 4 plus 12 square root of 3. If you combine those two together, they're not like terms. Okay, try the next one. All right, so here's your answer for x and y. When you get ready to work these, remember that this should have been equal to 3 square root of 5, and this one should have been equal to 6 square root of 5. All right, if you have problems with that. And that's the end of this lesson.